Well,
occurred.
speaking of rockets falling out of the sky, this week, Rocket Lab released some footage of them working on practicing. They did this, by the way, like last month before the stay-at-home orders and stuff. But they've been working on recovering and grabbing their rocket boosters out of the sky using parachutes and a helicopter. And this is really, really cool footage. I'm just looking at the one on Twitter, on Rocket Lab's Twitter, but they have this posted already on YouTube. And so they've gone out and they've been practicing this, which is really, really exciting. And I love how they had to have like 3 helicopters for this, which helicopters are not cheap by the hour. So they've been spending some money.
They're catching a booster.
Yeah, check this out.
With a helicopter.
Yes. Yes, they are.
And they caught it.
Yes. Yes. Well, so they've done 2 flights so far that have survived what they're coining as, quote unquote, the wall. Because they're re-entering from space without doing any kind of propulsive landing, without doing any kind of extra slowdown methods to get through space. They're just letting they're keeping the booster lined up, basically, so that the engines are pointing perfectly straight. The Peter Beck basically has said, like, the only thing they get in trouble with is if that booster starts to, like, go angled, because then it the whole bow wave and the hypersonic, like, wave that comes off, like, the front of a booster while it's coming in is, like, the plasma knife, they call it, because it's, like, such a hot, insanely hot area. So what happens is if the booster kind of runs into one of those walls, almost like imagine a cone on the front of the rocket falling back from space, if the booster wall ends up touching that, it's gone. Just disintegrates, basically. So as long as they keep it aligned within that sharp little cone, it's made it through back from space twice so far on both attempts in what they assume is pretty good shape. And so on their, let's see, I think they've done 13 flights, and Peter said on their 17th flight will be the first one where they try to actually pull a chute. They won't try to recover it yet, but they will fish it out of the water. They'll see if they can get it down to the ground. But they were practicing the actual swooping it out of the sky method.
So describe that for people listening. What's happening here?
So once after the booster survives like initial reentry and gets kind of down into a little bit thicker parts of the atmosphere, at that point they'll pull first a balloon, like a giant drag chute. They didn't show that in this because that's a separate technology that they haven't really talked about too much. But basically they'll pull like a hypersonic balloon that'll get them down from through the hypersonic down to supersonic, and then once they're subsonic, they can pull the main like parafoil, and the parafoil then can steer itself just like the SpaceX's fairings, have a parafoil there. The difference is with the fairings, like they're so lightweight and so big, they have a lot of aerodynamic properties on their own, so it's really hard to steer that. This is way more akin to like a person, because it's just kind of a heavy...
It's just falling.
It's just a pretty...
cylinder.
A nice, fairly dense cylinder with a giant parafoil. And it can steer itself into the wind and provide, like, I think Peter Beck told me in the last interview I had with him, like 20 minutes of hang time or something. Like, they've got plenty of time to be able to, swoop it up with a helicopter. So the helicopter just goes by, grabs it, and then they'll set it down on the deck of a ship. And, yeah.
It's amazing.
So they've actually been practicing it. So they've proven...
How tall is that booster? Because in that video, it looked pretty small.
They're really quite small. When you see an Electron, I mean, it's on its side. It's only 1.3 meters tall, so like 4 foot-ish tall. Let me see. I think altogether, I don't remember. I think it's only like...
But lengthwise, what is it, like 8 feet or something?
No, it's bigger than
meters?
that. The length of the first stage, hang on, let me see if I can find a picture just to give you guys a good reference here. Well, here's Peter Beck standing next to the Electron, and this helps you understand how small this thing is. It is a very small vehicle. That picture has 2 pixels in it, but the whole vehicle, I don't remember the exact dimensions. I've got it somewhere, of course, but it's not huge. I think the length of the booster is
like 3 meters. I mean, it looked tiny. In that
no,
video.
way more than, because if the width is 1.3, it's something like 8 meters or something.
Well, I wonder if that was just like a test thing, because it didn't look like a full stack.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah, like it barely looked as tall as a helicopter.
Yeah. In real life, it is. Pretty.
That had me wondering if they were just saving like the bottom half of it for the engines or something. But
no, I think they're doing the whole thing. It
might have just been a test.
So the whole entire rocket, just for future reference, is 17 meters long. I'm guessing that the core state or the booster would be, I don't know, 12 or 13 meters probably. So yeah, that's what, 35, 40
And a
feet.
helicopter can just carry that. Like it has that much power.
It's so lightweight. You can literally,
yeah.
I've been on the factory floor pushing that entire booster around. Like I think it's like less than a ton. Hey, thanks for checking us out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this clip from our podcast.
We do a weekly show here on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to Our Ludicrous Future, where we discuss all the things that are going to make our future totally ludicrous.
You can join us here on YouTube or at any of your favorite podcast places. Plus, if you want to get some behind-the-scenes stuff and join a cool community, you can help support the channel at patreon.com. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.